Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what I'll be discussing is we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns 2024 NFL Draft Recap, kind of going through all the draft picks that they made. As we know, the Browns did not have a first round pick, but they did have a lot of later round picks. We had pick from round 3 all the way to round 7. And as always, after the draft takes place, a lot of teams were able to go through, get some undrafted guys. The Browns got a couple of guys that we're going to react to as well. So ultimately, like I said, I'm just going to give my opinion on all the draft picks that the Browns made. Am I a fan? Am I not a fan of the draft picks? And then also just kind of give a quick little reaction of the undrafted guys as well. Real quick, everything you're going to be seeing on screen about all the draft picks and like all the analysts about all the draft picks that the Browns made, I'm going to have a link to it down in the description below, so if you want to go check it out for yourself, feel free. But without further ado, if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you can drop a like on this video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, first up, we got Michael Hall Jr. from Ohio State, defensive tackle. This one, I'm okay with the pick, more or less, because the fact that the Cleveland Browns, we needed depth. Michael Hall, he was a very good defensive tackle for Ohio State. His sophomore and freshman year, I thought he was pretty good. His junior year, he kind of did fall off a little bit. I think his problem was just the way how he plays. He's still a little bit raw. He's got some things he needs to be taught. As it says here from this analyst, my take, second round started with a run on defensive lineman, and the Browns made sure to get one of the Ohio State's, Michael Hall Jr., a native Ohio. He was third team All Big Ten selection in 2023, named top defensive lineman at the Senior Bowl practices as voted on by his teammates. Hall has a quick first step and could be a good complement to the Browns defensive tackle, Dalvin Tomlinson. Could be like a backup rotational guy to kind of go in whenever Dalvin needs to take a snap off. As it says here, Michael Hall, he's still very, very young. He doesn't turn 21 until June, so he's going to be, hopefully he can go the full 4 years of his contract. He can be young. He can be somebody to just go in and fill in for the guys. Right now, we're running with Maurice Hurst, Dalvin Tomlinson, and a couple of Shelby Harris. These guys like Maurice Hurst, Shelby Harris, they're older. They're getting up there in age. We need some young guys. We need some run stuffers in the defensive line, and I think this is a solid pickup. Now, is this like a crazy good pick, like let Barry Cook type pick? Not really. I'd say it's more of like, I give it like a solid B- on a grade. And I think it's because this isn't really a pick that like we're expecting him to grow and be a guy within the next 3 years and be like a guy on our team. He's going to be more just a rotational guy at depth piece. That's probably like the next 4 years, probably let him walk, something like that. Next up in round 3, pick 85, we had Zach Zinter, the guard from Michigan. This was the guy, for those of you who did not watch, if you're an Ohio State or Michigan fan, you watched the game between Ohio State and Michigan at the very, I believe it was like the third quarter, fourth quarter, somebody correct me in the comments, but he ended up getting injured. I think it was an ACL injury. It probably says it somewhere here, where he went down and he ended up getting carted off the field. He was like the heart and soul of the Michigan team. Yeah, it says right here, he broke his left tibia and fibula against the Ohio State team in that game. He said in the spring he's ready to go. He's ready to get back for next season. As it says right here, he's going to be more of a depth piece with Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Taylor both getting up there in age. We needed depth in there. Somebody for if Joel or Wyatt ever goes down, or maybe just getting sore, they need to take a game off, or maybe needs to take a snap or two off during the game. Zach can jump in there and he can give you the same production as those guys. As it says here, Zinter allowed only one sack, and had only one blown run block in 2023. Basically saying this guy does not fuck around. And also, he did not commit a single penalty in 2023. So this guy is going to be a damn good guard in the NFL. Now, one of the things with taking off his alignment, I would have said if we still had Bill Callahan, this would have been a huge pickup, because Bill Callahan can tutor him, show him the ropes, and get him ready to go. Hopefully, like it says, back up Joel Bitonio, and possibly in the years come, if Joel were to say like in the next 2 to 3 years, if he thinks it's time for him to retire and Zach Zinter needs to be the guy to step in there, he can be ready. But with our offensive line coach, that's going to be our coach now, that remains to be seen on kind of how this pans out. Next up, we got round 5. We'll pick number 156, Jamari Thrash. I'm not going to lie, at first I was like, I don't really know if I like this pick, but more kind of reading into it, this could be a very underrated pickup. As we know, with our receiver core, Amari Cooper is going to be turning 30 here soon. Jerry Jeudy is also up around, I think, like 26, 27 years old. We just signed a 3-year contract with him. We needed to get some new pieces in there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, we let walk last season. So right now, our receiving core is kind of developing into Amari Cooper, Cedric Tillman, and Jerry Jeudy. Not really the core you want. Elijah Moore still on the team, but Elijah Moore, I think he's going to be free agent after the season. So we needed to get some new blood in there. Jamari Thrash, he's a speedster. He can run around. He can do a lot of things. He can take some bubble screens. He can go deep. It says here he's got 857 receiving yards, led the team last year at Louisville, was 4th most in the ACC, earning him second team All ACC honors, and Thrash actually transferred from Georgia State, where he was also first team All Sun Belt in 2022. Is Jamari going to be the kind of guy that's going to develop into being like a number 1 receiver for the team? Fuck no. Number 2? Fuck no. I think he's going to be just like a developmental piece, kind of rotate him in. Hopefully, if he can put in the work, he can be a big time piece for us, but I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be just kind of like what we saw with Anthony Schwartz a few years ago. He'll be out there, he'll get some work, but he's not going to be anything big time, I don't think. In round 6, at pick number 206, we had Nathaniel Watson, linebacker out of Mississippi State. This is the one that I'm hoping he can show up and be big time. The fact that he fell to round 6 surprises me based off looking at his stats, looking at everything he does. Some people said that he did have some problems on the field, things where like sometimes he was great, sometimes he was down. There were some games where he was like the best player on the field, and other games it was like, hello, are you there? Going into the season with the linebackers, we're gonna have Devin Bush. He's kind of on the edge of his career falling off, so we'll see how that works. Jordan Hicks we signed in the offseason, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is developing into being probably, I'm not gonna lie, this might be a hot take, top 5 linebacker in the entire league. I don't know exactly how they're trying to pan out or develop their linebackers right now, if Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be moving into inside the middle linebacker, or if he's going to stay on outside linebacker. If he moves to middle linebacker and they can try to put Nathaniel Watson on an outside linebacker role, Jordan Hicks, Devin Bush kind of rotating, maybe it'll work, but we'll have to see how that goes. But like I said, Nathaniel Watson, he's going to be a big-time linebacker for this team. In round 7, 227, we had Myles Harden, quarterback out of South Dakota. I think this is more of just a developmental piece, like a role-playing kind of guy, depth piece. We already got our guys in Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson Jr., and Greg Newsome. I think their plan is if Greg Newsome were to walk next season, after the season, I think he's a free agent after the season. So if he were to walk and we need to get a piece in there, I'm thinking Myles Harden, maybe he's going to be the guy that they can say, hey, go take over Greg Newsome's spot. You got this. And the last pick they had was round 7, 243. They went ahead and took Jowin Briggs, I think is how you say it, defensive tackle out of Cincinnati. Once again with Michael Hall, just a developmental guy, just somebody to go in there and just be a role player, be a depth piece, and somebody that hopefully he can just kind of just be there for the team. As if guys get injured, if anybody needs to take a snap off, he can jump in there. And last up, kind of looking over some of the undrafted free agent guys that we took. You can kind of see them all here. We got the guy out of Miami, Florida, Javion Cohen. He signed offensive lineman, depth piece. Arizona State DB Christopher Edmonds, once again another depth piece. Kind of looking through the list, none of these guys really speak to being like big time pieces that I would say like these guys are 100% gonna get on the field this season. Wyoming tight end Trayton Welch, I maybe could see him getting on the field, maybe like a number 2 or number 3 behind Njoku and Atkins. Some of the running backs, not really. Weber State linebacker Winston Reed, maybe he can get on the field in the preseason a lot. I'm not gonna lie, when we talk about let Barry cook, he didn't cook that much. Now, for those of you who might be saying, what the fuck are you talking about? Barry cooked big time, and I'm going to come back to this in a year, and this team's going to be fucking amazing. These players are going to be a godsend. If that's the case, fine. I'm a doofus. I'll accept it. But in the past couple years of the drafts, and you all have to admit, past couple years of the draft, when we drafted Grant Delpit, I was like, fuck yeah, that's a big time pick, and it developed to be a good pick. When we drafted Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I was like, fuck yeah, that's a big time pick. I love it. When we drafted Greg Newsome, big time pick. I love it. Hell, when we drafted Marvin Emerson Jr. in the 3rd round, I was like even saying, that is a big time pick. I love it. And all these picks, especially in the later rounds, have developed and panned out to be great picks. Even Donovan Peoples-Jones panned out. But with this year, I'm not gonna lie. Some of these picks I'm not really too much of a fan of. The Zach Zinter, I kind of like. Mike Hall, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Thrash, the Louisville wide receiver, I'm teeter-tottering on it. But everybody else, like I said, all the undrafted guys, I'm not really sure about if I'm going to be a fan of them. And then some of the guys in later rounds, they'll have to grow on me. But to give a final grade on the whole entire draft of undrafted guys and just the draft in general, I'd say that just the draft in general, I give, from what I've seen, a lot of analysts they're giving the Browns like a C+. I'm going to agree with that, but I'll be a fan favorite. And I'll give them like a C. I'll give it like a C+ probably as well, and just give it a C+ because he didn't really do that well. There were some players in there that I think the Browns kind of skipped on that they shouldn't have skipped on. And there were some moments in there where I'm like, I'm kind of surprised the Browns didn't try to even trade up. Like, there was times where it's like, are you telling me you couldn't just give up like a 7th round pick next season in order to trade up like 10 spots in order to get a guy that we could have had right here? But like I said, not the finest work for Barry, but maybe I'll be wrong in the long run. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go and enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy it, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, do you think the Browns hit on the draft picks, did not hit on the draft picks? Do you like any of the draft picks? Was there any that I'm saying I don't like that you like? Was there any that I like that you do not like? Or just want to leave your complete opinion about the entire draft? If you want to do that down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so, and I'll be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I did poster and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified second I post. But without further ado, this has been Don't Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.